So websites are by far and away one of the most effective tools that you can use to communicate just about anything, whether that be a brand, a collection of work, or even an online shopping experience. And yet the World Wide Web is filled to the brim with millions upon millions of websites. And so it's super important to make a site that stands out. So today we're looking at 5 tips and design principles to keep in mind when designing a website. And this will get you on your way to getting that professional looking website fast. Now, I do want to let you know that the web hosting company Hostinger has sponsored this video, and I will be using their platform to demonstrate the different tips and tricks that we're going to cover throughout the video. It's a phenomenal web hosting client. It's actually genuinely worth checking out, but each of these design principles will apply to any method or service that you might be using. Right, so tip number 1 is to keep it simple. So the first thing to keep in mind here is font choice. And generally speaking, we want to be using sans serif fonts such as Arial or Helvetica and not Times New Romans or Garamond. This is really because they are easier and therefore more simpler to read, and that is what you want for your audience. You should also limit yourself to a max of 3 different font types for your entire website, and you should try and use a minimum font size of 16, which is generally considered the easiest for online reading. Finally, don't put too much text on any given page. There are far too many examples of websites with big chunks of text throughout, and it just makes for more work for your audience. So limit the amount of text on the page and use fonts that are going to make life simpler for your audience. Tip number 2, make your navigation seamless. It's not the visual design of a website that determines its success or its failure, rather it's the usability. Remember, you're not the person who's clicking the mouse, it's the visitor on your page. So if they can't find something on your website, then it might as well not even exist. So when you're designing a website, a really helpful tip is to ask friends and family members to test your website's navigation so that they can give you feedback and so that you can ensure that the user experience is as seamless as possible. There's a 3-click rule that should apply to all websites, and that is the user should be able to find what they're looking for within 3 clicks. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's absolutely true. Don't make navigating your website hard work for your audience, otherwise they're not sticking around. Tip number 3, the color palette. So for this tip, you want to be really intentional about the colors you're selecting to represent the different elements on your website, whether that be the background, the navigation menu, or even the fonts used throughout. Complementary colors help to create a balanced and visually appealing website, and there are even online tools that are worthwhile checking out which help in selecting a range of colors that fit into specific visually appealing color palettes. Additionally, make sure you use contrasting colors for your text and for the background so that it's really easy for the audience to read the information that you're presenting to them. And vibrant colors, whilst okay in some areas, should be used sparingly, perhaps only for buttons and call to actions. Finally, don't be afraid of negative white space. It will give your website a modern and uncluttered look, which is definitely something worth considering when designing a website. Tip number 4, load time. Everybody hates a website that takes too long to load, and more often than not, when a website is taking too long to load, we just click away. So one way to ensure that our websites have fast load times is to use images that aren't too big in file size. We might be tempted to upload our images as high res as we can get them so that we can have the best quality images possible, but this will lead to long load times. So tools such as TinyJPEG or TinyPNG.com are really helpful and easy ways to reduce the file sizes of your images without losing much discernible quality. And tip number 5, optimize for mobile. Just about everyone is using their phone to browse the internet these days, and so you really do need to prioritize optimizing your website so that it looks good on a mobile device. Hostinger makes this outrageously easy to do. It even actually does it for you, which makes life very easy, but this is a super important step that you want to keep in mind when designing your website. Now, the beauty of using the website builder within Hostinger is that, as you've seen throughout the video, they keep all of these tips and design principles in mind in the templates that they provide for you to use, and also in the way that they enable you to really easily customize the templates yourself. Literally anyone, including those who aren't even confident in using a computer, could design a really professional website using Hostinger. Now, you can go crazy and make the templates look nothing like they originally did, which gives us lots of flexibility and is ideal for those of us wanting a little bit more freedom. But if you are wanting to do this, then make sure you keep in mind the tips that we discussed throughout the video. What's awesome about Hostinger is that it's not just a web building tool, it's also a web hosting service as well, which means as soon as you finish the design of your website and you want to publish it, Hostinger will take care of all of the work for you. It's a highly effective and intuitive web hosting service that is absolutely worth checking out. And the best part about it is that it's ridiculously cheap, and it's about to get even cheaper because they've been nice enough to give my viewers a discount code, which will be included down in the description below. And this will get you a neat 15% off of each of the premium packages. So that's it, 5 super easy tips to keep in mind when designing your own website. Aside from that, hopefully you found the video helpful. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you later.